The Multidimensional Perception of the Feminine and the Masculine Within Us by Alexander Philip Asmus. It is known through ancient writings from the East that the human being is composed of the female part, the heart, intuition, empathy, and the male part, the brain, rational, strength. The psychiatrist Tom Kenyon has investigated and worked with the two parts of each human being. In modern psychiatry, it is known, for example, that the right side of the brain is spastically responsible for the left side of the body and handles what represents the feminine, intuition, empathy, creativity, etc. And the left side of the brain is spastically responsible for the right side of the body and handles what the masculine represents, the rational, analysis, mathematics. What happens when we observe the body in the physical spastical way is that we imagine that we are 50% feminine and 50% masculine, which is mechanically and spastically correct. Only in this way the look on the balancing of the feminine and the masculine is reduced to our physical body in 3D. Our 3D body hosts the 7 main chakras and 114 subchakras, distributed throughout the body. The chakras are the connection points of 350,000 nadis, a system of channels described in the Hindu philosophy of at least 3,000 years antiquity. Even millions of nadis are mentioned in some of the scriptures. Our being manifests itself through the body. The body serves as an orientation guide on how we're doing, but this often takes longer periods of time. That is because the physical body is changed only through the change of habits, which takes effort and time. Also, the DNA changes with our habits, which is scientifically proven, for example, through studies on eating habits and the effects on the DNA of grandchildren. In one way or another, social problems today end up being reduced to sex, social class, nationality. In all parts of the world, being a man or a woman is tolerated as an explanation for our habits and our behavior, which makes the emancipation of women even more difficult. The problem that must be solved is the recognition that the violence shown in public is the final result of physical differences of the people. But the root of this violence is not physical. The root of violence must be observed and prevented in the being of all people. There is the possibility of continually orienting oneself by observing one's own habits, which includes the thoughts, through which we manifest our body. When we observe the human being from a multidimensional perspective, it makes more sense to think that instead of a human body with 100% in total and divided by 50-50, but effectively we do have a variety of intangible and multidimensional bodies. Indeed, a large number of multidimensional bodies are recognized, which are part of our conscious and unconscious being. That is, invisible bodies manifest as our habits. From Eastern traditions or from esoteric scriptures, other bodies are known in addition to the physical body, such as the mental body or the emotional body, the ethereal body, the causal body, the intuitional body, or the spiritual body are described, but there must be much more. Only with so many multidimensional bodies can self-observation be complex, especially when our ego and restrictive beliefs complicate the advancement or expansion of self-consciousness. As it is possible to reduce and simplify the 350,000 nadis to only 7 chakras, it is also possible to consciously reduce an infinite number of multidimensional bodies into only 2 main bodies, the feminine body and the masculine body. Each body has 100% of capacity. The art is not to strengthen the body to a maximum, but the goal is to have each body balanced in the center. What happens when our feminine body is balanced, or rather, what we have to do in order to observe and balance our feminine body, is, for example, to maintain good nutrition, hygiene, give and receive love, self-love, but also very important characteristics such as humbleness, intuition, empathy, being able to imagine what the other one is experiencing, but also creativity and sensitivity are part of our feminine body. When our masculine body is in balance, we have security, initiative, and strength. We are rational and independent, resistant. We can analyze well, and we are practical and disciplined. In order to have both bodies balanced, it is important to first identify what we have out of balance, and in this way improve the habits of each of us. When the feminine body is lacking, this is generally expressed as a form of impotence or the lack of being able to act. The extremes when the feminine body is excessively out of balance results in a form of naivety, when one readily surrenders and trusts before checking. Another form of excess is an overprotection of oneself and others, or envy, and why I do not have the same thing is a form related to victimization. Extreme excess already results in victimization. For example, when it comes to blaming another person for something that she or she has not done, with the aim of gaining control of others and the situation unfairly. When the masculine body is in deficiency, a motivational or energetic lack is manifested. The most dangerous is when the masculine body has excess, which results in judging before verifying, arrogance, ignorance, and stronger ambition, hatred, anger, and all forms of violence. As men, just like women, carry both energy bodies, it is very clear that both sexes carry violence and the dangerous characteristics of an excessive male imbalance. There should be no difference between the sexes. What should be evaluated is the male-female balance of each person individually. A person who walks with hatred in mind all day long is a continuous offense to the environment, regardless of the gender. Physical violence is unacceptable. But first exists non-physical violence, which is perceived in the same way in both sexes. We shouldn't just evaluate the last minute when it's too late, but all actions and context should be taken into account. We must control our masculine body first. All forms of hatred and violence must be eliminated at their root. There is no action and reaction of improvement under these conditions. It is impossible by the law of cause and effect. We must manage our feminine body, men especially, but also women must recognize and nurture their feminine body. Envy is toxic, victimization is the beginning of unjust empowerment, which turns into violence. Only self-observation and self-control are mature virtues worthy of coexistence. All the rest falls under the unconscious and ignorance. Looking at the code of Leonardo da Vinci, it is without doubt what the master wants to transmit to us with the Vitruvian Man. The observation and control of the masculine body, the nutrition of the feminine body. Not only that the work incorporates the sacred angles of the Great Pyramid of Giza and an infinite amount of coherences with the universe, or the proportions of the moon with the earth, but as described above, the two bodies can be observed as the energy bodies of each human being. The circle symbolizes the feminine, creativity, intuition, empathy. In this way, it is the feminine body that is shown mathematically in perfect balance within the circle. The square symbolizes the masculine, the brain, the rational, the analysis. In this way, it is the masculine body that is shown mathematically placed in perfect balance within the square. When joining the two energy bodies, both in perfect balance, a multidimensional balance of wisdom is formed. At this point, we manage to access the philosopher's stone, divine wisdom. The main message of Leonardo da Vinci is that we all have the possibility of accessing divine wisdom, if we can self-observe ourselves in order to balance the two bodies continuously. The philosopher's stone is more than knowledge. It is more than reading a book. The philosopher's stone carries negentropy, the shift from chaos to order. When we get to this point, our universe together with matter are automatically put into order, and magically we understand, we see, we agree to reach peace and harmony. The sculpture Philosopher's Stone mathematically consists of the perfect balance between the masculine, the pentagon, and the feminine, the hexagon, just as described in the works of Leonardo da Vinci and Albrecht Dürer. How can we achieve it? First, we must be aware that if I do something to another person, and if it's only a thought, I must be accepting that another person can do the same to me, no matter what it is. If it's hatred, if it's anger or violence, ignorance, in the cosmos, everything is returned in some way. That should be reason enough to review and to synthesize our own habits. Lying always leads to violence, because the falsification of the facts results in judging and incorrect treatment. Now it is up to each one of us to observe and control oneself. There are no exceptions.
Vuela golondrina de rama en rama, abre caminos el agua de la mañana, mi Yakumama. Viene despertando la flor del tiempo, flechas que vuelan al centro de la semilla del universo. Vuela golondrina de rama en rama, abre caminos el agua de la mañana, mi Yakumama. Viene despertando la flor del tiempo, flechas que vuelan al centro de la semilla del universo. Trae na 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 na. Sopla perfumero tus alegrías, llora tus penas que brillan la cordillera llegando el día. Vuela mi gran cóndor, viene cuidando, viene limpiando su vuelo, toda la sombra va iluminando. Sopla perfumero tus alegrías, llora tus penas que brillan la cordillera llegando el día. Trae na 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 na, trae na 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 na, trae na 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 na, trae na 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 na. Vuela golondrina de rama en rama, abre caminos en agua de la mañana, mi Yakumama. Viene despertando la flor del tiempo, flechas que vuelan al centro de la semilla del universo. Vuela mi gran cóndor, viene cuidando, viene limpiando su vuelo, toda la sombra va iluminando. Sopla perfumero tus alegrías, llora tus penas que brillan la cordillera llegando el día. Trae na 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 na, trae na 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 Si dos miradas se juntan buscando un punto de encuentro, si dos miradas se juntan buscando un punto de encuentro, será el fogón en el centro quien responda a la pregunta, quien responda a la pregunta. La flecha quema la punta, a veces te quita el sueño, las palabras como un leño, que el tiempo vuelve ceniza. Por eso digo sin prisa, la verdad no tiene dueño, la verdad no tiene dueño. Venga la noche y el día, venga la lluvia y el sol, venga la risa y el llanto que tengo en mi corazón. Hay mentiras verdaderas y verdades mentirosas. Hay mentiras verdaderas y verdades mentirosas, pero vuelan mariposas sobre las enredaderas, sobre las enredaderas. La sopa de esta caldera tiene muchos ingredientes, vendedores y clientes, opiniones y criterios, que en el caldo del misterio se hacen una solamente, se hacen uno solamente. Venga la noche y el día, venga la lluvia y el sol, venga la risa y el llanto que tengo en mi corazón. Me asusta un día que fui buscando piedra del cerro. Me asusta un día que fui buscando piedra del cerro y escuché ladrar los perros que estaban dentro de mí, que estaban dentro de mí. En mi rezo comprendí que en esto de ser humano, en la mente hay un villano y que el miedo es su alimento. Por eso hay que andar atento, con la palabra en las manos, con la palabra en las manos. Venga la noche y el día, venga la lluvia y el sol, venga la risa y el llanto que tengo en mi corazón. Venga la noche y el día, venga la lluvia y el sol, venga la risa y el llanto que tengo en mi corazón.